The island of Cozumel, off the eastern coast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, is the largest of the islands in the Mesoamerican Reef System. The Mesoamerican Reef is the largest in the Atlantic Ocean, and it stretches about 450 miles southward from the tip of the Yucatan Peninsula to the coast of Honduras. Cozumel's white sand beaches slope down into the transparent waters that surround the island's spectacular coral reefs.
I think this is how people are supposed to live. I don't think they're supposed to live in ice and snow for 8 months out of the year.
The first traces of the Mayans on Cozumel probably dated back to 100 BC. Evidence of their existence here has been found in more than 34 places. The largest of them, in the middle of the island, is called San Gervasio. Historians believe that 3 migrations happened to Cozumel. The Mayan people who arrived around 100 BC were semi-nomads, probably hunters and fishermen. The second migration wave happened approximately 400 AD when Mayans from Guatemala arrived. They were more culturally developed and knew much more about the art of architecture. The third and most important migration wave for this area's history happened around 800 AD. These Mayans brought the important cult of the goddess Ixchel, the goddess of the moon and fertility. She is the second and most important goddess of the numerous Mayan deities. All Mayan women hoped for the blessing of Ixchel. Therefore, they made a pilgrimage to Cozumel to ask for fertility. Usually, they set out for this pilgrimage before their wedding. This is why many weddings of these pilgrims took place on Cozumel. For the Mayans, the journey to Cozumel was dangerous. Between the mainland and Cozumel, there are very strong currents. The Maya used canoes to cross the strait. Ixchel was revered as the goddess of the moon because of her feminine character. She represented the fertility linked to the earth due to the fact that the cycles of the moon are those which determine the times of planting and harvest. The Mayans represented her as a young woman, as a symbol of the waxing moon, or else as an older woman, as a symbol of the waning moon. On her head she wore a serpent, and the pattern on her skirt was of bones in the form of a cross. She was celebrated during the month of Zip in the Mayan calendar, under her role as the goddess of medicine. She was known to protect the pilgrims who visited her on the sacred island of Cozumel. So this was what they used for astronomy. They designed some of their round buildings after the form they saw in a seashell that was spiraling. And in the top would have been a hole that they could have looked at the sky. And the center led down to a cenote in the middle that reflected the stars that they saw. So this was one of their buildings that was built for astronomy, for them to look at the stars and figure out the dates and times. A small building at San Gervasio displays several red handprints on the wall. It is known as Las Manitas for these handprints that were originally thought to be blood. However, it is found that they were made from the cochineal bug, which, when crushed, creates a red food coloring that is called carmine. The carmine that came from these bugs was used by many cultures in that time period as paint. One of the most amazing discoveries at San Gervasio is a Mayan road made of large rocks that extended from one side of the island to the other. What is unique and different about this road is what the Mayans did with the coating for the top. The Mayans crushed up large amounts of seashells that were coated with the mother-of-pearl lining. Then they collected the resin from the local copal tree and made a mixture of the powdered mother-of-pearl and the soft resin or sap from the copal tree. After making this concoction, they spread it over the entire road across the island. The moonlight reflected so brightly off of the mother-of-pearl coating on this road that it enabled the Mayans to walk all the way across the island in the dark without any artificial light. As you walk on this Mayan road in San Gervasio, you can still see it dotted with rocks that are shining from mother-of-pearl coating that once covered this entire way. So this was the altar. The number 7 was the perfect number for Mayans. Everything was in 7. The stairs were 7 inches in depth. A lot of times they had 7 stairs leading up. In 1518, the Spanish arrived on Cozumel. They found a peaceful people that lived there. In the diary of one of the soldiers on the expedition, he had positive things to say about the natives. The locals were given a letter to hand to future expeditions confirming that they were good people and should not be harmed. Letters, however, don't protect against smallpox, and by 1520, most of the islanders were sick or deceased by this foreign disease.